Hello, welcome to the Fat Girl Friday Show, pre-recording it today. So the topic today that we're going to be just discussing is, what are you really hungry for? A lot of times cravings that we have, or overeating or even undereating, is because there is something that we're really hungry for, but we're substituting it with food. So we're going to get into that and what those emotions are and how to manage them in a healthy way so you're not overeating, especially during the holidays. We see that happen a lot. So we want you to enjoy your festivities and enjoy the food that you eat, but not like overeat because of something else going on. I am Lauren Clayton. I'm an integrative health practitioner, certified yoga teacher. I have a master's in psychology, and I use that to help people optimize their health in all areas of their life.
Ooh, I'm Steph. I'm a certified health coach and personal trainer, and I'm a mindset and emotional breakthrough expert. And we're here just sipping some hot chocolate, healthy hot chocolate that we made. And we're hanging by the fire, making it a cozy Christmas gathering.
And we're Fat Girl Fitness.
And we're Fat Girl Fitness, which stands for psychology, health, attitude, training, and transformation. Woo-hoo. And so I just want to highlight a couple of the ingredients that are in our hot chocolate that we're drinking today, because you might want to make it at home. It's a healthier version. At Fat Girl Fitness, we like to have delicious things, but have them in a way that are still nourishing and healthy for our bodies. So a couple of ingredients that we used. We have organic peppermint extract. We just got that at Whole Foods. Pretty simple. And then for our sweetener, we used organic maple syrup, which is 100% pure. So it's really important to get that 100% pure, not just any old maple syrup. And then the cacao we used is this organic fair trade. It's the only organic fair trade cacao on the market from Fresh Superfoods. Really amazing, super energizing, because cacao, although it doesn't have caffeine in it, it does give you a little kick and a little zing. So
yes, and it's great. It has fiber. It's so good for you, and a ton of antioxidants. And then for the base, if you wanted to do coconut milk or almond milk or even organic whole milk, that would be cool. We're not like super big fans of low and non-fat milk, but just have it, or soy milk really,
or raw milk. I like raw milk.
Raw milk is my jam.
Soy milk I don't like. I don't like soy.
I don't like soy. Well, yeah, just because it is a synthetic hormone, and it just doesn't vibe with your body that well. Whether you're male or female, it affects you negatively in different ways depending on your hormone structure. So that's why we're not that down with soy.
Not down.
Not down. Raw milk is the shit. If you can get it,
good.
It's so good. It's perfect, like for you. We've talked about this in other episodes about the whole pasteurization. We actually don't need to burn our food or heat it up to get rid of bacteria. It's natural bacteria that the body knows how to process. But there's a lot of fear around bacteria.
Oh yeah, a lot of fear around raw milk and bacteria and all that stuff. And yeah, it's a crazy thing, and we could go in depth with it. We could get deep, but
even hand sanitizers. Like I see people this time of year really overusing hand sanitizers. Whoa. And first of all, our bodies are full of a layer of bacteria on our skin. It's basically made of bacteria. So you cannot be constantly killing the microbial life that is trying so hard to keep you alive.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're sick or something like that, it's, an overproduction of certain types of bacteria, but your body knows how to fight them off. A lot of times we're just over-sanitizing ourselves, which gets us sick. And like we mentioned last week, it's not often something that's going around that's getting us sick. It's us just on a psychological level needing a break.
Yeah.
And so being like, oh, I got sick, guess I could have a break without feeling, guilty about it or anything else. So just a couple things to keep in mind about bacteria and getting sick.
Yeah, and think about it this way, you're not actually sick, you're emotionally sick in the moment. So just treat it that way and say, how can I make myself happier? How can I make myself feel better? How can I be more loving to myself? That's a great way to heal. When somebody says to me, hey Steph, what can I eat, or what can I do? I'm not feeling well. I'm like, well, there's a million things you could eat on the health food scale that would make you feel better and give you vitamin C and things like that. But the truth is, you just need to take care of yourself and be good to yourself. So pushing yourself really hard and taking a bunch of medication is not a good way to heal from sickness. It's a good way to keep yourself really sick and keep sickness coming back.
Yes.
And also, just really quick side note, I wanted to hit on the topic you were talking about, the bacteria, because there's bacteria everywhere. You know, we're bacteria in our gut, bacteria on our skin, bacteria on our face, and this is again good bacteria. And so many people are using these super harsh, harmful face washes that strip all the bacteria off, and then you wonder why your skin is super dry, and you wonder why your skin is breaking out, and you wonder why it doesn't look nice, and the pigmentation is off, and all these things. You're stripping the bacteria, and your face needs that bacteria. So try using something that has it nourishes it and keeps the bacteria there, and it has enzymes to balance it out. I use raw local honey as my face wash. I know that sounds crazy. Most people are like, that sounds like the opposite of what I want to do. But honey is full of enzymes, and honey keeps it, I mean, it's been a ridiculous before and after when I started using honey to when I was using like Neutrogena or whatever. It's like I used to wash my face 2 times a day, sometimes 3, because I would break out. Now I do once.
Yeah.
Like one single honey face wash, and that's all I need. Skin's amazing.
And there's natural antimicrobials in there that balance it out. Coconut oil is also amazing for that. It's so hydrating. And it has the antimicrobials and the antifungals that keep your skin nice and balanced.
Balanced.
Coconut oil smells good. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather smell like coconut oil.
And it looks good too. Whenever we're doing a photo shoot, we're both lathering up with like coconut oil because it looks good. Makes your skin shiny and healthy looking. But make sure you rub it in completely. I've made that mistake.
Yeah, then you're just kind of sticky.
Yeah.
Okay, so just kind of like you alluded to earlier, a lot of times when we have food cravings or during the holidays, you know, I think we're expected to feel a certain way, or like the Hallmark industry, you know, creates these expectations for us that the holidays are supposed to look a certain way and you're supposed to feel a certain way. And then when you don't, you feel bad about yourself, and then you turn to food. One of the things are alcohol or just any kind of malignant behavior that isn't serving you, really. It might be a temporary fix in the moment, but then minutes later or days later, it's just having a negative effect on you, and then the cycle continues. So the best way to break this cycle is simply pausing and asking yourself, what are you really hungry for?
Ooh, shout out to Deepak.
Yes, it's a wonderful book by Deepak Chopra called What Are You Really Hungry For? And he, one of the things he talks about is filling yourself up with what you really need, because there is a lack of something. But what is it? Like, do you feel lonely? Do you need company? Do you need more love, like compassion, like interest? Like, are you bored? You know, like, what is it that you need that's lacking? And sometimes we're so like out of touch with that because we've just been, you know, we've created this neural pathway to just think emotion, I don't like food, blah, 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 alcohol, or doing something, smoking, whatever it is for you. It's like, what are you really hungry for? And so throughout this episode, when we reference hunger, like, what are you hungry for? We're also talking about not just food, like whatever you're using to substitute the real emotion.
Yeah, that hunger that Lauren's talking about is when you're looking inside yourself, and I like to call these your AOAs, your areas of avoidance. And so you're actually not looking inward, you're looking outward for an external healing or external band-aid. And yeah, your mind is this amazing, great thing that's just constantly looking out for you. And it's like, I'm gonna make sure you're not in pain. I'm gonna do whatever I can do to make sure you avoid pain. But it's not smart enough to know that certain things can make pain better in the moment, but then cause a lot more pain in the long run. And so we're always trying to pick the easiest source. So that's like your areas of avoidance. It's different for everybody else, but you know, you could have 1 or 2, stack them up. My main areas of avoidance that I trained myself to have were food and then alcohol. And also the other one was needing attention from other people, like seeking attention. And that's how I would avoid my own pain. So I would go first to food, and then I'd stuff myself to the point where it hurt. And then I'd start drinking, and I'd drink so much that I was like, I had no energy to do anything. So I'm like full and I'm drunk. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, next thing to do is just to make this pain go away is get some attention. So I start going to people, but then of course, when I'm in that state, the last thing other people want to do is hang out with me. They're like, whoa, that girl is too pushy or too clingy or too whatever. I don't want to be around it. You sense it, right? You sense when somebody is in a bad emotional state, even though you maybe it doesn't click and you don't say, oh, they're in a bad emotional state. You're just like, I just don't like being around them right now.
Right.
So I would go through this series of things, and everybody has their own personal series that they go through, but you're picking on your areas of avoidance instead of saying the simplest thing in the world, what Lauren said, what am I hungry for? I'm not actually hungry for food. I'm not actually hungry for alcohol, and I'm not actually hungry for other people's attention. I'm hungry for my own personal fulfillment. You know, it's like I'm wanting my own love, and avoiding my own love for years and years and years, it didn't do me any good. It's very unsatisfying to be in that space. So
what did you do in terms of more adaptive behaviors to find love, attention, like security, all those things that you were hungry for?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I started, this might be kind of extreme, but it worked for me in the moment. I just stopped drinking alcohol because I knew that if I was only drinking it from a place of filling a void or filling a hole, that I just didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. So I stopped doing that, which really helped me because it was usually the alcohol that would put me over the edge to the attention needy stage. Mm-hmm. And so by cutting that part out, I was really more in a space of just like going back to myself. But really it was more like the inward stuff, journaling, meditating, spending time by myself, taking care of myself, like doing little things like taking a bath, or maybe saying to my fiance, hey, tonight I'm gonna have like a me night and I'm just gonna, you know, do all the things I like to do and hang out with me. Because I think I mentioned this on a show before, but I do this exercise all the time with clients where I'm having them write a love letter to themselves. And I always do it with them because it's like every time I do it, I get something else out of it. Mm-hmm. So the last time I was doing it, I'm just writing this love letter to myself and I start to see how awesome I am. And I go, oh my gosh, I'm my own best friend. I'm the only person in my life that will ever experience everything with me. No one else is ever going to have exactly all the exact same experiences in this life. So I get to be my own best friend and I get to hang out with myself and I get to really love that I am my own best friend. And I think that that feeling of knowing that you hanging out with you is pretty much the most fun you could ever have. I think that really brings you to a place of peace. And
yeah, and eventually that's what you want to get to, a place of peace with yourself, because there is some kind of like unrest that is going on internally with yourself that you haven't resolved, no matter what it is, no matter what base, you know, emotion is there that needs to be worked on or fulfilled. You get to fill that up, but it's an internal process. Even if it's like feeling lonely, which ostensibly looks like another person or maybe having a dog or something, it's really important to have a sense of fulfillment and feel full on every level. I mean, you could have 1 million dogs and you could have 1 million friends and be very social, and that's great too. But as long as, I mean, it needs to come from this place of not constantly having this like pit of loneliness or sadness. I see this a lot with grief. So there's just kind of like this emptiness. And of course, you know, depending on what kind of, if you've lost a pet or a loved one or whatever, that's definitely going to be there. And it's emotion that comes and goes. Because, you know, like different holidays come up, their birthdays come up or whatever, but it's letting that emotion come in and out of you, like we talk about in Letting Go, the book Letting Go. It's not about like never, ever, ever experiencing that emotion again. It's learning how to deal with it, properly, and ultimately letting it go, because every single emotion is energy in motion, and we're not meant to hold on to things. And then, you know, the brain is in survival mode. So as we're holding on to things, the brain is like, okay, how do I get rid of this? Let's stuff it down with some food, or numb out with drugs or alcohol, or even TV for hours at a time, whatever it is. So just learning to really experience something and knowing that it's temporary. Everything in life is temporary. So really just knowing to release it and being comfortable with that. Breath work is so good here for that. So if something comes in negative, just really release it with each breath until it's gone. You could even add a visualization. Some of my clients like to imagine like black smoke coming out until it dissipates and dissipates until it's like clear, or even like white happy smoke or whatever. I don't know what happy smoke is, but it works for some people. So just knowing that, because the transition that Steph is talking about from you know, numbing out with certain things, and I've certainly had that too with food, alcohol, even like certain just like toxic people, you know, and I'm just creating like whatever with these toxic people is, you know, keeping you away from something. But when you do make that transition and conscious choice to shift your behavior, it's not like, you know, there is this gap that happens. I don't want to say gap, but this like a transition period where it's uncomfortable. You have all these emotions that you haven't dealt with, and it's uncomfortable, and you backslide, and then, you know what I mean? We all have times where it's still, even now, like just be eating something, and I'm like, what am I doing? You know, right. Or like, you know, or just engaging in like, or, you know, or maybe like someone negative coming in, and I'm just like, to my life, I'm just like, no, and so it's just kind of like really remembering to, I don't want to say you check yourself, but it comes up as the more that you progress and evolve as a human being, you'll have these different opportunities to come up. The thing is that it gets easier. It's not one of these things where whatever your struggle is right now, it seems like the hardest thing in the world. And when you decide to work on it, it really does get easier until these things don't have power over you, or they don't even work. That's the most shock. Like when it like using food, just it literally didn't work for me. It wasn't appealing. It wasn't. I was just like, damn, like. Wow. Okay. Well, what do I have? I guess I have to like, do something that's healthy for me, or like, you know what I mean? I was just in that place. So it is like be prepared for that, for it to not be easy at first and uncomfortable. Our fire went out.
Oh no.
But for that to be a work in progress. But every little step you take in the right direction is getting you to a healthier place. Which the fire back on.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. That fire felt so nice. It's like I don't know, I'm not gonna speak for Lauren, but I'm a California wimp, and when it gets like 60 degrees, I'm like, ooh, I can't handle it.
Oh, well, it's like 70 degrees outside, but you just like were traveling everywhere and like all up in nature I guess you're in Hawaii.
I get all up in nature.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing. I was telling Josh that the other day. I was like, when you made that comment about like, it's too much nature.
Oh yeah, it was raining the other day. And Steph was like, oh, okay, well, I'll walk to blah, blah, blah and meet you somewhere. I'm like, there's like the elements and like nature outside. Like, you're gonna get hurt. So I told her, like, take the shuttle.
I want to take Lauren camping sometime.
No, I haven't been camping before. Did I tell you?
Yeah, maybe.
I went camping once. I asked what to bring. And then they're like, a backpack with this in it. I didn't have a backpack. I brought a rolly bag, like, which is like, you know, but so I'm just like rolling it through to our campsite, which I didn't think everyone made fun of. I didn't think it was a huge deal. And I had access to my stuff better, but everyone got drunk. I'm like so fucking scared that I had a half a bottle of tequila, sober as just like, I mean, I could have, you know.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I'm just like this, like, and everyone's like, ha ha, and having fun, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and then everyone starts to pass out, and I'm like, don't we need to put the food away so we don't get attacked?
Bears.
Oh my God. So they're like, oh, it's cool, and they put it in a locker. I'm like, that shit needs a lock, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, ooh, and I'm like,
oh no,
we're in nature, and there's food everywhere. So all of a sudden, it's like, in the middle of the night, all these raccoons are like, and I'm like, in my tent, like, and they're just like so fucking close, and I was so scared. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then I heard, and then they said it was like maybe a bobcat. I'm sure it was like a saber-toothed tiger or something that was like fighting.
Definitely.
With the raccoons. And like, it was just everywhere the next day. I was so pissed I left.
Oh my gosh, that's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be with like irresponsible campers is not a good way to head into nature.
I just don't get it. Like, you could be outside all day and then sleep indoors. That's what
glam
buildings. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny you said that about the suitcases, because I went to Peru like 4 years ago with my friend Diana, and we went there kind of not knowing what we were gonna do, and we end up packing rolling suitcases full of stuff, and we think we're gonna be like, you know, just traveling.
Yeah.
But we're freaking walking through the jungle in Machu Picchu with rolling suitcases. Like,
Nothing wrong with that.
it starts pouring rain. We're using them as like umbrellas, but it was amazing. Yeah, all the guys were just like, really, rolling suitcases?
You're like, yep, that's how we roll. Haha. Just kidding. So getting back to our subject. So we thought this would be a good time to really break it down in terms of like, what are you really hungry for? Because it comes up so much during the holidays. Like I said in the intro, because we're supposed to be filled with all of these happy feelings, and it's often not the case, you know? I mean, something comes up, or someone will, even if it's just a little thing, someone will piss you off at some family thing or some work event, or it's kind of like, gosh, I'm so stressed with X, Y, and Z, and I just like to be by the fire, hanging out, drinking cocoa, you know, that type of stuff. So it's often about these expectations that aren't met, or aren't met. And so it's really important to notice when you're having an expectation that's not going your way. When that happens for me, I just straight up say like, okay, well, this isn't going my way right now. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's not going your way. No matter what, you know, whatever you think it should look like or whatever, in that moment, it's not completely going your way. So just recognizing that and releasing it, and also replacing it with all the amazing things in your life. And if you can't find any, keep searching, because they're there. That just means you're like too in your negative space right now. Even if you're, you know, going through something really hard, there is a few things to be grateful for. I'm really focusing on those and giving those energy, because whatever you give energy to starts to grow. And whenever you ignore or don't give energy to, weakens and lessens. So coming from that place, and then filling yourself up with what you really need, not the alternative or the secondary thing, which is food, drugs, alcohol, anything like that.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head too when you said, when you go to these events, these holiday events, it's like, yes, it's the most wonderful time of the year, full of love and cheer and happiness and joy. And it's really like that time when you see the people that you don't see for a year. And then compare yourself to, and then they make comments, and you make comments,
Yeah.
and then it gets awkward, and then it's like the most uncomfortable experience. Maybe your holiday doesn't go like that, but I know that for most people it does. It's some form of insecurity or uncomfortability, or you're around a lot of people who tend to have a lot of judgments about you, and you feel like maybe you're not living up to their expectations. I hear that a lot. So yeah, just know in your heart that you are enough, that you're doing a great job, that you're amazing, and that everybody is just as uncomfortable as you are. So don't go to your areas of avoidance to avoid. Instead, if you're going to eat food, eat it to really taste it and enjoy it and have just the flavors of amazingness. Or if you're going to have a alcoholic drink, just have it and enjoy it. Same thing. It's like, drink high quality stuff and make it something you're gonna love. Like I said in the past, I gave up drinking, and now it's one of those things where I come from a place of, I ask myself before I have a drink, are you drinking to feel comfortable, or what are you really thirsty for? And if I'm like, you know what? No, it's just gonna be like, it's festive and fun, and I'd love to have a glass of blah, 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 then it's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that. But yeah, it's a matter of just finding your heart and making sure you're coming from the right place.
And that's true with any single thing that you do, is really being in joy and immersed in the experience. And I talk about like being sensual a lot, and I'm not talking, I think people just think about it like sexiness, which is like, you know, yes, you're sexy too, but I mean like of the senses. So you have these senses that you should use all the time. And I do a lot of work with like helping people with their intuition. And it's like you need to understand on a deep level all of these senses so you could access the sixth sense even better and understand the difference. So really, like when you're eating something, just like noticing all the flavors and how it feels and how it feels in your body. When I started developing my intuition more, there was just certain things that I couldn't eat, or I'd go into like the grocery store and I'm like, no, it's already rotten. Or just like, I would just pick up things on another level with food, and like just knowing what foods were more high vibrational than others, just first by doing the work of being like all my senses activated when I'm having anything, any type of drink or anything. And then that goes to doing other things. So like watching TV, which I try not to do off. It's like, well, is this entertaining right now, or am I checking out? Or another one that you kind of alluded to that I think comes up a lot is gossiping. So gossiping is just, I mean, it has to do with, you know, like the throat chakra type of energy, and like when you're overeating, you're stuffing that down, and then when you're gossiping, it's kind of like a, you know, form of like regurgitation, or just. And there's a lot, we could do a whole show on just that in terms of like what that is doing on a mindset level and coming from a place of inadequacy or things like that. But also it's just kind of like, why do you need to keep like spewing about other people, or just, you know, even just repeating yourself. So it's just something to keep in mind whenever you do any activity. Are you completely present and engaged in the process? And if you're not, I mean, it's totally a skill, and I still have times where I'm thinking about a million things, but it really does help every single area of your life if you could breathe deep and just be absolutely present with any and everything that you're doing, whether you're communicating with someone, whether you're eating, whether you're having sex, with anything, just being as present as possible.
Yeah, I really feel that everybody comes from a place of love. Like, you just want to love and be loved. Mm-hmm. So when gossip gets involved, it's obviously not you. It's not your highest self, your best self, because you are loving and you love everybody. But something's getting triggered within you, and yeah, from an uncomfortable level, you're just...
There's a piece where you're not loving yourself, right?
For sure.
Anytime
yeah, gossip is a quick way to know that that person doesn't love themselves very much.
Yeah, and then what you think and feel about other people, especially in general, is a reflection of you and your state and how you perceive and feel about yourself in that moment. And it ebbs and flows, but instead of like being like engaged in the process, especially if you're in a negative place, just step back and look at that person as someone that's not part of you, because that's your ego, that's not your... That's your lower self, it's not your higher self. So it's not your highest and best and who you really are. So when you start in a negative space for any reason, just observe it and be like, okay, well, what does this person need that's frustrated or upset or gossipy or whatever? What do they need? What not void needs to be full, but how do they need to be nurtured? And Deepak Chopra talks a lot about that. He's just like, what part of you really needs to be nurtured? Look in your health, look in your wealth, look in your relationships, and what is it that needs to be cared for and nurtured and taken care of? And if you could come from there, journal about it, I mean, so many things will open up, even just by bringing an awareness to that. It's like, what is it? And then it could just start to grow from there. You don't need to find a solution immediately. That actually often blocks a lot of healing and success. So just explore and feel and be really present.
Yeah, I saw a post somebody put up the other day, and it said, what's the first emotion you would experience if you felt 100% taken care of? Or it was either what's the first emotion you would feel, or what's the first thing you would do? And it was so interesting to read everybody's comments, because, and think about it myself, you know, because it's like, we can be 100% taken care of in any moment, but we tell ourselves a story and we allow this to come up for us, and it takes us out of that amazing place. So yeah, it's like finding out, well, what do I need more? What do I need to be taken care of around more? And then answering, how can I give that to myself right now?
How can I give that to myself? And also really in every cell of your body, knowing that you are worthy of that and deserve that. I think that's what blocks a lot of people from feeling taken care of and having or filling these voids in a proper way. It's just like, well, how can I mean, just knowing that, like, yeah, of course I deserve that. When you start to feel like that you deserve things, and I don't think the word entitled is a bad word, because we're entitled to have the highest and best life and have the most abundant life. We just get in our own way. So when you remove all those mental obstacles, all this abundance and whatever it is that you want can just come flooding into your life.
Oh yeah, and it's like, look at you. You are such an amazing gift to this world. Make sure you know that. Mm-hmm. So that really wraps things up on how to handle cravings during Christmas and understanding what you're actually hungry for. We'd love to answer any questions you have on this. We know this is a pre-recorded episode this week, so we want to give you the option to always ask questions. We're very active on this page. And Lauren, what are you up to this weekend?
Well, I'm going to Tahoe.
Woo!
Which I'm excited
about. What an
about.
amazing Christmas experience. I'm so excited for you.
I'm excited too. So yeah, and I'll just be, with friends, family, things like that. Yeah, what about you?
Are you going to ski? Are you going to get in nature?
No. I'm not going to do that.
That was a rhetorical question.
I've snowboarded before.
Oh, yeah?
But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that this time.
Yeah, you might just look at the snow. Is there snow in Tahoe? There's a ton, right?
I don't know, actually. I haven't even checked. I've been basically with all my clients that I love so much.
Oh,
I do. I love them.
Yeah, you have to. And that's another worth thing, too. It's like a lot of coaches out there will be like, I can't stand this client, or I hate having these sessions when I'm working with so-and-so. And it's like, you don't have to work with anybody that you don't want to. I work also with the people that I love so much. They are like best friends to me.
That, and also if you're a coach or just a person and you're experiencing if you're a human being, but I was also thinking like a teacher, maybe a nurse, like any type of like person that's in a caretaking role, and you're getting triggered by something, it's usually something in you that you haven't resolved, or you're kind of maybe have some unconscious stuff about or trauma about from someone else. So if you're getting like super triggered by your clients, it might be worth exploring. Because I do, I feel like I come from a pretty spiritual place. It's like, okay, every person that I attract into my life, especially in my private practice, is like, okay, I'm the healer here. So what do I need to give to them? And what do I learn from them? Because I learn from all my clients. Oh, yeah. So it's like, what am I going to learn from them? And sometimes it's like some stuff comes up, which is fine. So yeah, what are you up to?
Ooh, okay, so it's Christmas. I don't have Christmas plans yet. We have, my fiance and I have a couple, 3 options. I don't know if we're gonna just hang by ourselves this year, That self-care thing, it's like, we're really trying to make sure we ask ourselves, are we taking care of our own needs first and satisfying that primary need there? Yeah. So, I'm not sure. But I definitely am going to be making more peppermint things, that's for sure.
Oh my God, we're obsessed with peppermint.
Lauren keeps bringing me little peppermint treats and is opening my world up to a million things I didn't know were good.
Yeah, and okay, speaking of being in joy, it's like we both appreciate peppermint things, so it's so fun to be like, oh my God, Steph. And it's like she gets it. It's not like, okay, it's peppermint, we're how most people behave. Yeah, it's a form of joy.
I almost got, speaking of peppermint, I almost got us peppermint chocolate marshmallows for our hot chocolate, but they were full of crap. I couldn't do it.
I know. Every time I want to buy marshmallows, it's kind of like I just can't. There is a recipe. I don't know how good it is, but I've seen recipes for the low carb marshmallows. But even some of them, they have xanthan gum in it, and I don't like xanthan gum because it alters the biome in your gut, and I don't know, it just does fucked up things to my gut, so I'm not down.
No thanks.
Yeah.
But it was a trade-off. It was one bad thing or the other.
Yeah. So when you are watching this, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions about what we talked about, please, or any comments or anything, write them in the comment section. We will definitely see them and respond to you. So thank you so much. Have an amazing Christmas. And we will talk to you soon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.